Welcome back to Lost Legacies.
A Hidden City Book Company production.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Sam. Pleased to meet you.
Oh, I forgot that's what I wanted to say. Welcome to Lost Legacies. I'm Matt. Pleased to meet you. Oh God. Well, if you can't tell by now, this episode we're talking about I don't have my DVD on me or my Blu-ray on me. I don't know what year it was.
Oh God.
But
That's
we're talking
okay. I got it pulled up.
Okay, what year did this come out? It should say on the
19,
back.
1984.
Okay, we're talking about Walter Hill's 1984 cult classic. I really don't know if it's a cult classic or not.
I feel like it is.
Okay, it's a cult classic, but we're talking about Streets of Fire. All right, so this is something I watched this, I want to say probably about a year ago
Yeah.
because I saw that clip that we were referencing online, and it's just the picture behind Sam, William Dafoe, walking out of the fire with that weird. Try move again so they could see his outfit. Look
There
at
you
that.
go. There you go.
Sorry, podcast listeners. We're also filming this, so you could check it out on YouTube. You can see William Dafoe's outfit in all its glory.
He's
Uh,
shirtless, but in like a tight, like leather spandex, like suspender get
yeah.
up. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, is
With
he
a
cutting
real
fish or something? Like,
right, right.
I don't know. I don't know. Or I mean, it's kind of bondage looking. I'm not one to kink shame, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever floats his boat. But yeah, so that was the scene when I see him walking out of the fire and Tom Cody turns around. He's like, "Name's Tom Cody. Nice to meet you." I'm like, "Oh my God, this acting is terrible. This outfit is terrible." But like it enters the level of being cheesy. It's just cheesy enough that it becomes kind of cool
Yeah.
you know
Yeah, yeah.
so after that, like I think I watched the trailer for it, and you know sometimes it's just Saturday night and I'm like, I want to watch something I haven't seen before, and like I'm like, let's check this out. My world was changed forever. This is sitting on number 19 of my top 20 films of all time.
Wow.
I can't tell you if it's a good movie, but it's certainly a movie that I had fun with.
Yeah.
I think that's all that matters,
I
right?
think that's all that matters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 What did you know about this movie?
I I knew that it existed.
Uh-huh.
I knew there was a movie called Streets of Fire. I knew that it was some kind of like rock, sort of movie.
Hmm.
I didn't know if it was a musical or what, but I just knew that it was like rock and roll was a huge component to it. Um, I knew Diane Lane was in it, and then I knew that Willem Dafoe was in it.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these things kind of were just like pieced together over time. Like I've known about this movie for years. It's been on my watch list, and anytime like it gets brought up, it's usually always in a positive light. People are like Streets of Fire rules, and I'm like, I gotta watch this movie one day. Um, so yeah. So then when you said that you watched it, and you loved it, I was like, "Oh, rad. Cool. Well, one of these days, hopefully I'll watch it." And then when you said that you were bringing it to the podcast, I was like, "This is fantastic. I get to cross it off my watch list." And boy, oh boy,
I'm
it's
gonna
a
try
it's
and I'm sorry, what was that?
it's a hoot.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna try and find it on my letterbox. Um, see what I wrote about it.
And I haven't reviewed it yet. I'm waiting.
I gave it 4 stars, which I stand by it. I stand by it after a year.
Okay.
Yeah. I did give it 5 stars originally.
Mm-hmm.
But then like
Mm-hmm.
as time went on, I'm like, okay, okay, let's not go too wild, man.
All
I,
right.
I'll give it a solid 4.
Okay. All right.
I've never actually read this since I posted it, so let's see what I said a year ago, whenever this
Mhm.
was. Before Walter Hill's 1984 Streets of Fire, We merely had movies. After Walter Hill's 1984 Streets of Fire, we had film. Just kidding. This film is entirely style over substance, but when the style is this damn cool, I don't care. The opening scene might be one of the best opening scenes I've ever seen,
Mhm.
and I'm not sure if Streets of Fire is actually a good film or not, but the music and the cast was more than enough to keep me invested. Walter Hill's 1984 Streets of Fire may not be perfect, it may not even be good, but that doesn't mean it isn't a masterpiece. All right, I stand by that review wholeheartedly
All right, all
1 year
right.
later. Yeah.
I can see that.
Okay, so just first reactions.
First reaction is I don't know what the hell everybody's talking about. I think this movie slaps. I think this is a great movie, bar none and hands down.
Yeah,
All right?
yeah.
No, fine. Yes, fine. Maybe some of the acting isn't so great. Maybe it feels like it's been edited down from maybe a more violent picture.
Mm,
Uh, and sure, maybe, after the first 20 minutes, the movie kind of is like, it's fine, whatever. But then it really picks up towards the end. And the rest of the movie is just kind of like, whatever.
hmm.
I don't care. Because I'm vibing with the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
All right. It is just here's the thing. Walter Hill kind of already made this movie with the Warriors, you know? Like
Hmm.
if you take this and the Warriors and just kind of like put them up against each other, it's about a group of people that are trying to get out of somewhere. They're on the run for the night. Now the Warriors is a little bit more bare bones and more gritty, and definitely feels more cohesive, right?
Hmm.
Like there's really not any sort of like side stuff going on, and they're like it is just about the warriors trying to survive the night. Streets of Fire has so much more going on. There's so much more, not necessarily like plot wise, but just like visually, artistically, you know? And I feel like for me, it's a much more engaging film. I've seen The Warriors once, and I had to fight myself from putting on Streets of Fire again as soon as it was over when I watched it last night. I had to fight myself calling out of work today, just be like, nope, sorry, boss, can't come in. I've been Streets of Fire pilled.
The streets are in fact on fire.
The streets are fire.
Hmm.
Like I don't know, like there's just something about it that feels so much more infectious
Hmm.
that I'm like, hell yeah.
Hmm.
Hell yeah. Um
Yeah.
that's my those are my initial thoughts.
Yeah. I think now, okay, as we go on, listeners, I lent Sam my Blu-ray of this movie. He watched the behind the scenes. I still haven't watched it because like I just got the Blu-ray like a week or two ago. So all I really know about it is kind of what I've read online. So you might have to correct me at some point, Sam, or you can
Okay.
chime in if you know something that I don't. Um, but I think kind of part of like the addictive quality of this movie is that just the fact that it's Streets of Fire, a rock and roll fable.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
Mm-hmm.
tagline on the poster, but it's straight up in the credits, so I consider it
Yeah.
part of the title. It really feels like a fable. Like it feels like this kind of this isn't set in the real world, you know.
No.
It might be in the not too distant future of our real world, but I don't know. Like
Like it
this
def like it's like a post-apocalyptic 1950s,
This is like
you
a
know?
kid growing up in the Warriors. This is what he's dreaming about. These are his
Yeah.
heroes, you
Yeah.
know? It does kind of feel like this, not post-apocalyptic, but just very kind of dystopian, even the way it's shot and the way it looks.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was all filmed on a set, so those actual city streets weren't real.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the main kind of drag is underneath like the train bridge. I don't know
Yeah,
what you call those. Which you see
I
a lot
think
in,
it's elevated train.
yeah, you see a lot of that in New York and Chicago
Yeah.
and Gotham City in the Nolan ones.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that just kind of adds to like the kind of like the mythical quality of it. You
Yeah.
know, so much of it is at night too, so it feels like the whole movie's in a tunnel. You know, I don't even think we actually see daylight until like the third act when they're gonna fight, or
No,
it's when they bring her back.
no, because when Tom meets up with Fish at the diner,
Uh,
that's during the day.
Whoa, sorry, we're back. I had to switch out the mic real quick, having some technical issues. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, okay, no, they did see some of the daylight earlier in the movie,
Yeah, yeah,
but most of it feels like it was like shot in a tunnel or something.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so I think that's part of it. The fact that it was all on a set, uh, uh, it kind of adds to it just feels like it's not real, you know?
Hmm.
And I think that kind of adds to like the magic, if that's what you want to call it.
Hmm.
Um, Also, I don't know who wrote it. I don't know if it was Walter Hill or what, but apparently someone made the decision at some point that nobody dies in this world.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that's interesting. So that kind of adds to like the kind of fairy tale fable-esque
yeah,
ish of it. Um, yeah. So originally this was supposed to be the start of a franchise.
yeah.
Tom Cody was gonna just go town to town going on adventures.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And they kind of have that in like towards the end,
Hmm.
where like Tom gets in McCoy's car and then they just drive off and it's like,
Hmm.
okay, yeah, like they'll be back next time. Which is so crazy because I never got that like watching that ending. I was just like, yep, and that's it. That's the end of the movie. I'm
Oh,
like,
nice. Okay.
yeah, yeah, like me like just not even thinking. I was like, yeah, that's where the movie ends. Like
Hmm.
I don't need anything else.
Wow. Yeah. No, I kind of dig that idea. And it like when you think of it that way, it kind of makes sense. Like, okay, yeah, he can't end up with the girl at the end because he's got to keep writing. You
Yeah.
know, he's got to keep moving along.
Hmm.
It's such like so apparently the writer, I think it was Walter Hill,
Yeah,
he
it's
had
Walter
the
Hill and Larry Gross.
so he had the idea of like when he was a kid and he made the character of Tom Cody.
Hmm.
So it's kind of based off comic books and stuff. But I'm like, that's such like an edgelord thing to write, you know? Like, no, we made love one last time, but her life's better without me. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep going. She's gonna miss me, but she's gonna know I'm right. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It's so weird, dude. I loved it because like I said, this whole thing is cheesy, but like it fits. There's like a continuity to the whole film of the level of cheese, and it
Yeah.
just works. Like this is a living, breathing world, and I'm like, okay, this is rad.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that opening scene, man. Because like I said, I saw like a clip online and then I saw the trailer. I'm like, okay, let's watch this.
Hmm.
The first like 8 minutes of the movie, my jaw's just on the floor. I was like, one, just because the music alone, like even through the opening credits, you start hearing the drums kicking in, you
Yeah.
know, and then I'm like, okay, this is cool. Okay, rock and roll fable makes sense.
Hmm. Hmm.
But then you get, I don't even remember what the first shot is. I think it's the street and you see the neon lights in the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it cuts and you see all the kids running to the concert venue and it cuts and you see Reva in the diner. And like the cuts are so fast and like
Hmm.
it really caught me off guard. I was like, "Oh, hang on a second. This is like music video editing."
Kind of.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, this is." unique. Like instantly, I'm already pulled in. I'm like,
Hmm.
this is new. And then Rick Moranis comes out. I didn't know he was in it. I was like, oh crap.
Me either, yeah.
What a dick too. Uh, and then the actual music starts, and I didn't realize it was Diane Lane until like halfway through the movie. I'm like, oh crap, that's
Oh
Diane Lane.
wow.
Um, I I don't know if this was her first movie, but she was 18 when they filmed it, and I think she might have had one other movie at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to remember. She turned 18 before they started shooting.
Mm.
Yeah, and I think she had done something else, and I think just before this one, but big claim to fame was working with Coppola on The Outsiders.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
talk about similar.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Which is crazy. I'm gonna skip ahead, but apparently they originally wanted Tom Cruise to be the lead
of this,
of
yeah,
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 of Streets
yeah.
of Fire.
Dude, and like think of the Outsiders, man. That was like the casting director was like, let's get every single young heartthrob we
Mm-hmm.
can in this movie. And they did, man. Like, I don't know how famous any of them were before, but
Mm-hmm.
like they did, man. They had Tom Cruise, they had Patrick Swayze, they
Mm-hmm.
had Rob Lowe, right?
Yeah, yeah, Rob Lowe.
Matt Dillon, like
Mm-hmm.
it's such a stacked cast, dude. Ralph Macchio, right? Is he in
Yeah,
there?
yeah,
Yeah.
he's in there.
Such a good cast. And then you get this one where it's kind of the same thing, but everyone's playing like little side roles.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I didn't realize it was Diane Lane, and dude, just the when they're performing the song Nowhere Fast,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so good, it's vibing. The song's pretty cool, but then like you get to like two-thirds of the way in, and like the tone of the song kind of changes, and it kind of goes higher and
Mm-hmm.
faster,
Mm-hmm.
and the camera, it's always shot like at different angles. The camera sets itself up, straight shot, dead eyeing Diane Lane and like the two guitarists. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And it like slowly is pushing forward. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is very, again, unnatural.
Yeah.
Like so much of storytelling through film is about making things feel natural, you know, because you want to relate with the characters and stories. So it's all about like bringing you in. No, this movie's like, no, we want it to feel unnatural. We want this comic book slash fairy tale quality to it. So
Yeah.
when they put the camera straight up looking, your lead actress in the face as she's singing, I was like, again, kind of music video like. I was like, okay, this is cool. And then it cuts, and then you just see William Dafoe's like silhouette in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, this dude. I was spazzing out through this whole opening. I still do, because like I think I'm probably like overrating it a bit, but like I'm like this
I
is
don't think you
solid,
are at
man.
all.
Like they had a badass song. The director knew what he was doing. The cinematographer knew what they were doing, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
like came together, pulled it off. And it's interesting because when you look at movies like The Warriors or 48 Hours, easily damn good classics. And
Mm-hmm.
then nobody really remembers this one except like the cult following. But like you
Mm-hmm.
could still see that level of talent was
Yeah.
making this movie.
Yeah.
Those same filmmaker minds are planning these shots out. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, this is
Mm-hmm.
solid.
Yeah,
Um,
the behind the scenes was really cool and interesting because they were saying that like Walter Hill had never directed a music video before,
mhm.
but he was like enamored with MTV. Like he
Mm,
really dug like what was coming out of MTV. So he
mhm,
shot he shot and he had never done a musical. He he'd never done any musicals or anything like that.
mhm.
So he shot every single performance at least 3 times. And he and
Nice.
he- and he had his his shot list, and he had his stuff where it was like, yeah, the camera's gonna sweep in at this moment. We're
Yeah.
gonna do this. It's like it helped that they already had the music. So they just like played it while, they're performing, doing all this stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and then as far as the editors, there's four editors on listed on IMDb, but the behind the scenes only talked really about two, where one of them was just like straight up like I'm doing all the narrative stuff. And he was really nervous to do the song parts, and then there was this like one of the other editors came in and it's like, oh, like he had all these ideas, like looking at all of Hill's shots. And so they just agreed, like, oh, okay, you do all of the song, and then I'll just come in and add like Willem Dafoe riding in on the motorcycle, like cutting to Willem
Hmm.
Dafoe and like
Hmm.
his silhouette. I'm like, oh, like that's so rad. So yeah,
Yeah.
like you see something like this and you're like, yes, this isn't like these are people that are working at like the height of their power.
Hmm.
This was a blank check. Walter Hill, coming off of the Warriors and 48 Hours,
Hmm.
studios were like, "Hey man, make what you want."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Cool. Here's the script I wrote when I was like 12." And I'm
Yeah.
like, it's so wild. I love
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Like I don't know. It's such a weird kind of vibe. I guess like I don't want to say like a
it.
stigma, but kind of like it kind of reminds me of Hellboy 2, where a lot of people are just like, oh yeah, another comic book movie,
Mm, mm.
another kind of fantasy kid movie, and you're like, dude, Hellboy 2 is like solid. Like that's one of Del Toro's best.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
know, I that's kind of what I feel about like Streets of Fire. Although I'm a lot less familiar with Walter Hill's work,
yeah.
uh, um, but this was like, damn, I forgot what I was gonna say. It's something you had brought up. I was like, oh yeah. I don't remember. Damn it. That means it was an important point.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll come around to it. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, man, like it's a very simple story, very fable, very fairy tale.
Hmm.
Princess is captured by the dragon, so the knight in shining armor has to go get her.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
I
I think Hill was saying something along the lines of like there were uh it was sort of taking the idea of like 50s greasers,
Mhm.
and like that sort of culture, but just turning it into a Western. So yeah, it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
the evil posse in all black, they kidnap the most popular girl, and all that, and now her lover's got to come riding back into town, with, his, silver, long shooter. I don't even know what just a rifle,
Mhm.
coming to bring back justice
I
to
was gonna say
town.
everyone had rifles in the movies. We see him
Yeah.
have like a handgun, but he never uses it.
Yeah, yeah. McCoy uses a handgun,
That's
but
right. He
but
probably gave it to
he
her.
yeah. Well, no, she has her own.
Oh, oh, that's right. She
Yeah,
does.
she's a soldier. Um,
But like the coat, he has the coat,
he's got the big duster. Yeah,
and instead of horses, they have the motorcycles.
yeah,
Yeah, I definitely. He's the man with no name. He
yeah,
leaves.
kinda.
He comes in because he needs to do a job, and then he leaves at the end. And
Hmm.
yeah, 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 man, it's fun. Oh yeah, what I was gonna say was, listeners, if you haven't watched Streets of Fire, I don't know what you're doing here. Thanks for the support. Thanks for watching. But go watch it. But yeah, because it's not really a musical. It
Yeah,
it's more of just a standard movie, but with like almost music videos in it.
yeah,
Like you could tell, kind of like Arcane. Arcane would use like music videos
yeah.
in the episodes to tell the story. A lot of times it was like transitions or time lapses.
Hmm.
You see like the revolt of the Jinxes, the blue hair girls. Like I don't know
Yeah.
what you call them. You see the blue hairs revolt, and it's something that happens over time, but it's all told in like this 1 to 2 minute music video. And like
Yeah.
that's really all we needed. And it's done in a really cool stylistic way. Same thing with like the first one where a lot of the fight scenes were just really stylistic music videos. That's kind of what this is. Like there's like the opening song and the ending song, you're actually watching the band perform, but then when you're at the bomber's place and they're singing and stuff, like it's still intercut with everything else. You see Tom Cody getting into position, you see McCoy kind of working her way through the bar. So like
Yeah.
the story's still telling and the music's just kind of building the ambiance of it. Uh so yeah, it was just because I was honestly surprised that it wasn't a musical, but I'm like, yeah, that would have kind of been weird with the vibes, but I
Hmm.
think the way they did it fit well. And
Yeah.
now, and I'm also thinking, so if there was gonna be more Tom Cody movies, was it gonna be still the same? Was it gonna be like several musical fables? Like
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would imagine I would imagine so. It's just kind of strange that like
that would be kind of cool.
yeah, it kind of would be. It's just strange because like he's not involved in that
Mm-mm.
world at all. You
Yeah,
know, he's like he is very much the outsider, not even looking in. He's just like he acknowledges that like this world exists. So that's kind of it. Like, yeah,
yeah,
everything else just sort of truly it feels like it comes from, Diane Lane. Like this is her world, and this is the world of the city, whatever city this is, and it's
yeah.
like, yeah, like so I don't really know. I don't like it's weird to think about, but it would be kind of cool to imagine that like, yeah, it's still rock and roll fable where we're following this guy and we're just, I don't know, maybe we explore more genres of rock, or something.
I
Yeah.
kind of get vibes from Odessa, which is coming out soon with Sadie
Mhm.
Sink.
Oh yeah, that's out. It's on Hulu
Oh, it's
now.
out?
Yeah.
Nice. I gotta go check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, it also kind of picked up like some Fan of the Paradise vibes,
mm,
like just like mostly like within like the concert settings and how it's like it's not technically a musical even though like it kind of is. Like
yeah.
Fan of the Paradise has I feel like a much more musical feel to it.
Hmm.
Um but I think it's just like they're both working within like these weirder and more like seedier like rock sort of storylines and characters, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah. Yeah, man. It would have kind of been cool to see how the music styles change throughout the different movies.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
based on location.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So let's talk about Tom Cody for a second.
All right.
I think his name is Michael Perry?
It's like Puree.
Michael Pere.
Yeah.
Uh, it wasn't the best performance, but like I dug it. Like he fit the vibe of this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing. Okay, and I'm always I if I'm gonna critique another actor's performance, it's because it's got to be like something I really feel strongly about. I don't feel that way with this, so I just want to like put out the disclaimer. I honestly feel like a lot of the kind of cheesiness and the lackluster performances of this movie really came from the writing
Oh,
because
yeah.
the writing was very much like I'm seriously wondering if they updated the script he wrote when he was 12 because like it feels like something like all the one-liners I'm like of course he would say that like
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
again this is something a kid would see on TV and it's like yeah we got to have that line.
Hmm.
Even a lot of the trash talking was like all kind of stereotypical trash talking like it didn't feel new or anything. I'm just like, okay, these are all
Yeah.
one-liners. The ones that really worked well was McCoy and Fish. I love how they're just like riding each other's ass the whole movie.
Yeah.
And the performances were great. I'm like, okay, I like this a lot. And shout out to McCoy, man. You know how I'm a fan of badass lesbians.
Oh
So,
yeah.
and they never straight up say it, but come on, we get the hint, you know?
Yeah, yeah. She tells enough people that they're not they're her type, you know. It's like, all
Yeah.
right.
So is the
Yeah.
sister into her, Riva?
I don't know.
It kind of there was
They
a
kind
couple
of
of shots, right?
yeah, yeah. They
I'm
kind
like,
of leave it
huh,
open ended and I'm like, yeah, okay.
yeah,
I want that to be for sure.
yeah.
Uh which interesting point. McCoy was not in the original script.
Really?
Yes, McCoy's character was actually Menendez, a Hispanic man. And they wanted they were like when they were shopping around, they wanted Edward James Olmos for the part.
Oh wow.
But Amy Madigan came in to read for I think both Riva and Ellen Aim.
Hmm.
And then she was just like, well, can I read for this guy?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, but you know, it's like Hispanic. She's like, yeah, but this is such a fun role. Like, can I
Yeah.
read for him? And they're like, yeah, sure. And they loved her. So they're like,
Yeah.
all right, we're taking Menendez out and it's McCoy.
It wouldn't have been the same. Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like I hear a lot of people saying that like, oh yeah, like I wish this movie had been made with Tom Cruise. I'm like, no, I don't.
I
Because
don't either.
I don't think like there like this movie uh has a campiness to it, has a cheesiness
Right.
that I think is antithetical to somebody like Tom Cruise. You know, it's like Tom Cruise, like even as a younger kid, even as a younger actor, was still working, you know, like still working almost at the same level that he's working at now.
He's
You
always
know,
had
like
like he
he
has
has
this
an
intensity
intensity.
to his
Yeah.
presence, you know, and
Yeah.
like that wouldn't have really worked here.
Yeah, he does like I never really feel him like with few exceptions, I would say maybe like Interview with the Vampires where he's leaning
Hmm.
a little bit more into like camp,
Yeah.
but he's still giving it his all
And
in that performance, you
and here's the
know?
thing too. Like this whole world is kind of we've been saying it over and over. It's kind of campy, it's kind of cheesy.
Hmm.
But Tom Cody's kind of feels like the straight man in it all. You
Exactly,
know,
yeah.
he has cheesy dialogue, but like he's like the badass who's somehow just walking through this whole plot, you know?
Exactly,
Very
yeah.
much like the man with no name, or,
Yeah.
that's the archetype, the outsider, you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't, because Tom Cody he's almost like only one-liners, right?
Yeah.
Like
Almost, yeah.
it's rare if he has like a full conversation with someone.
Either you give him some of your money or I'll give him some of your money.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Wait, what? Who
I
is this guy, man?
I love it. Like I feel like this dialogue is something I would have wrote like in high school.
Yeah.
I love it, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
God. Yeah, Fish and Menendez, that just wouldn't have worked. It'd just be two dudes, like,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And it's also like, okay, so why? What is this? Is Fish racist now? Like, I don't know.
yeah,
It worked with
yeah.
McCoy because like we already know Fish is he's a jerk. He's very possessive of Ellen, but
Hmm.
with McCoy, he's very misogynistic, you know.
Hmm.
And I feel like, but McCoy can take it. You know,
Yeah,
that's like she's the tough girl. You know, we see that archetype so many times.
yeah.
But like that's who she is in this character in this film. So like they really bounce off each other really well.
Hmm.
And otherwise it would have just been two dudes arguing. It would have been the Hobbs and Shaw movie, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we talk about that a lot, like how like I'm kind of getting sick of these movies where they're just bickering. Like weakest part
Hmm.
of Hobbs and Shaw. I think that was the weakest part of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Hmm.
I'm tired of these people just bickering with each other and but
Yeah.
having to work like no.
Yeah, same with Deadpool and Wolverine. That's what killed the movie
Yeah.
for me, truly, is
Yeah.
that like you just have your characters constantly arguing. The
Hmm.
cool like the interesting thing about, you know, I guess like Hobbs and Shaw and Streets of Fire is that like there is that third person there. You know, so
Yeah.
it's not always Cody and McCoy going at each other. You know,
Yeah.
it's like no, it's this ancillary character, you know, it's this other person, you
Hmm.
know, like there's you know at least here there's a clear like straight man and then Menendez the sidekick, and then you have Fish. You
Yeah.
know, but with all these other movies, it's like they still want to have that buddy cop dynamic, but they're both the straight man. You know, they're both the badass. They're
Yeah,
both, and it's
exactly.
like one can't look like the other person can't look bad, and
Yeah.
that's where the dynamic doesn't work. So
Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree. And also Walter Hill even said that like maybe he's kind of like taking too much credit for it,
Mhm.
but he did sort of relent and say that like, well, yeah, kind of, he nudged like the casting of Sigourney Weaver for Alien because he worked on Alien as
Mhm.
well. And
Mhm.
he's like, yeah, like that script, it's written as genderless, but they're all men. Like the script is
Right.
like men names.
Yeah.
And so like when it came to the casting, it was like, well, yeah, why don't we cast Sigourney, as Ripley?
Mhm.
Like, why don't we do that? So yeah, like that was his choice to, cat to change it to McCoy and have Amy Madigan play her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Hang on a second here. Let me pull up this link. If you are on Substack, I highly recommend a good read called "Can Men Write Good Female Characters?"
Ooh.
written by friend of the pod, Mickey Martinez.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a good read, a solid read, and he brings up Alien, for sure, and I like the examples he uses. But yeah, it's kind of interesting because I've been working on this. It started off as a short film, and then it's me. I couldn't stop, so I kept going.
Uh-huh.
And because originally I was inspired by Mickey's latest movie that he's making, and I'm like, oh, I want to do something like that. I want to write an acting showpiece like for me, especially because I haven't acted in a while. So
Yeah.
I kind of want to write something where I really get to stretch my legs and do something. And lo and behold, the character I was writing for myself is very secondary, and the lead I'm like, nah, this I think like this is the lead. This is it kind of just came out of nowhere, but it just makes more sense like that this female character is the lead, not
Mm-hmm.
my guy. And it just
Mm-hmm.
the movie itself works so much better. So it's like, okay, is this a Matt movie or is this a good movie? It's just like okay, humble myself. Like
Sure.
I gotta give the good role to the co-star. Um, but yeah, like as I'm writing it, I'm just like, nope, I see it coming. I see where this is going, and I really like it. So,
Yeah, yeah,
um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, yeah, so much about this movie, dude. Young Bill Paxton was in it.
yeah,
Um, so much of this, like I just I had fun. It was
yeah.
fun. Um, I don't know. Any other insights from the behind the scenes?
Oh, plenty.
Ooh,
Yeah, I have plenty.
fire
Uh,
away.
so, so yeah, they built this. This was the like
Oh,
old Universal soundstage.
we are just talking about
Uh,
Deadpool.
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. You're wearing that. Yeah. So this was built on the Universal backlot. Dozens of hundreds of movies have been shot there before,
Yeah,
but they really took time to make it look like its own world, make it
yeah.
look like truly lived in. Apparently, like diner culture was like a huge thing that kind of sprung up sort of in like the late 70s.
Hmm.
I think they referenced the movie. I think the movie is just called Diner. And like after that movie hit, like that sort of like retroism was in vogue. So then they were like, oh yeah, well, okay, well, yeah, like a lot of pieces are taking places at diners, so we got to have a diner. And that's kind of where like I said like a post-apocalyptic 50s because it's like it is like the diner is like a very like 50s-esque, setting,
Hmm.
but here it's like it's all run down, it's like
Hmm.
everything's dilapidated. That's even in like the early scripts. One of the early scripts is that like there are people that live here, but if you just looked at the outside, you wouldn't be able to tell, you know?
Mm, I like
And
that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, apparently Riva was supposed to be like a narrator through the whole movie.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the whole movie was gonna have like VO with Riva as this character, kind of like very fairy tale-esque, like being the story weaver, coming in
Hmm.
and like narrating all the parts. This is Tom Cody, this is Raven Shattuck, like all of these things. And it's like, but I think for one reason or another, they just cut it.
Hmm.
And so it's like, and that for me, I feel like that kind of sucks because I feel like Riva doesn't really get anything to do.
Right.
She literally just calls her brother Tom,
Yeah.
and then it's the Tom Cody movie, and it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Um, they did shoot some of this in Chicago.
Hmm.
Pretty much like all of the stuff going to Torchy's.
Mm.
Uh, and then like them escaping from Torchy's, like all of that was like in like the under sort of like streets of Chicago.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Obviously, you see some of that in like movies like the Blues Brothers, or like you mentioned
Hmm.
earlier,
Hmm.
Nolan's Batman. You see the Batmobile chasing the cops down there. So yeah, like they used a lot of that. Uh, yeah, it is, and this was also, kind of one of those movies where it's like, having seen the success of Walter Hill's earlier movies, people were very interested to say yes, you
Hmm.
know. Like some people not so much. They said that they offered the part to Tom Cruise and he said he'd think about it, and then the next day he signed another movie.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's like, yeah, okay. Diane Lane was it came down to timing, because it was her and Daryl Hannah. They
Interesting.
were they were both up for Ellen, and then I forget what they said, but essentially, like, yeah, it just came down to like a scheduling. Like Daryl Hannah was about to go do something else,
Yeah.
and so they cast Diane Lane.
Wow.
Uh, and then one of the bands, the band who's playing in Torchies, they were originally offered or they were asked to do original music for 48 Hours.
Mm.
But the lead singer read the script, like the guy who kind of has like the like faux hawk kind of
Hmm.
singing. He's he read the script for 48 Hours. He was just like, no, I don't know, like this doesn't really feel like a vibe that I want to associate with.
Hmm.
And then they, like, they read the news, they read the paper, and then it's like, hey, 48 Hours like is one of the highest openers the weekends that it
Yeah.
opens. So then when they were asked again, he was just like, okay, yeah, like they sent over the script, and before he even touched it, one of his bandmates was just like, it doesn't matter what's on the page, we're doing the movie.
Hmm.
Yeah, and he wrote, yeah, so yeah, he writes like two songs, but the second song, Blue Shadows, he wrote, like, they did specifically write for this.
Hmm.
And Blue Shadows, it's interesting because like he read the script and he's looking at it and he's just like, yeah, like, wanted to have a sort of like ramping up to the danger. It's like we set the tone in Torchies, but there is a ramp up to the action, that happens. And he wanted to write this thing almost from like Tom Cody's perspective,
Hmm.
talking about like killing men and talking about being on the run, having to hide, it's like living in the blue shadows,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
it's like having it to be like this dark, like moody piece, and you listen to the song, and it's like the song isn't really dark and moody, like by the tone. But
Hmm.
when you listen to the words paired with the music, you're like, it's a nice juxtaposition, it's like talking about death and mortality and all this stuff. And it kind of hits home because um if you look carefully in the movie, they were very purposeful to do this, but everybody in the movie looks like they're under 30.
Mm. Yeah.
Kind of except for Tom, even though apparently Michael Pare was like 25 when he shot
Mm.
this.
Hmm.
Um uh
I was gonna say him and the cop,
yeah,
like the police chief or
yeah,
whatever, the sheriff guy. He looked a little older, maybe
yeah,
29. I don't know.
right. It's a hard 29,
Yeah. Well, a
but
lot of those
yeah,
people back then, like they looked a lot older than like 20s and 30s do today, you
That's
know.
true. That's true.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, like that, like that's part of the vibe that they were trying to sell as well. Like
mhm,
this is a sort of youth explosion, where there's still sex and drugs and
mhm.
violence, but they didn't want to go too overboard, which is why nobody really dies,
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
also part of the song at the end. I
Yeah.
believe it's called "The Night Is Meant for the Young," right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah. Which another fun fact, and I knew it the set.
mhm,
So the two songs that bookend the movie, Nowhere Fast and The Night Is for the Young, um both of them were written for the movie, and both of them were written by legendary songwriter Jim Steinman.
mhm,
Who, listeners, if you don't know who Jim Steinman is, Jim's obviously legendary songwriter, gave us songs like um Because the Night Belongs to Lovers, um, Total Eclipse of the Heart. It's like basically a lot of like the 80s power ballads that you're familiar with, but also was the lyrical genius behind uh a little bit of Sam Lore, one of my favorite all-time performers, Meatloaf.
mhm,
I
mhm.
would do anything for love. That, and then like that initial Bad Out of Hell album. It's like I'm just hearing it, and I'm just like I'm watching the movie. I'm like, this music slaps, and it's exactly like what you said. Like it has almost like a prologue, and I don't remember where I heard this or read this, but essentially like Jim Steinman does kind of feel like he's writing like Wagner. He's
Mhm.
writing like opera, but it's rock and roll. You
There's a
know?
very theatrical quality to his music.
Yeah,
I think that's why he was such a good pairing with Meatloaf.
yeah,
It's yeah, that's why like they're not traditional like rock and roll like artists. Like
yeah,
they're in a big way, as someone who's spent a portion of his life in theater, they feel like theater artists, like theater musicians, you know.
yeah, yeah, truly.
So Meatloaf covered Nowhere Fast.
Yes.
Did he cover the last one?
I don't know. And apparently they that was an add-on.
The last one,
So
yes, yes, it was.
yeah, yeah, because apparently they were working real hard to get the rights to Springsteen's Streets of Fire.
Hmm.
Uh and then and they filmed it. They filmed it too, with like a
Yeah,
cover by somebody else, because also Diane Lane doesn't sing.
yeah, it's not actually
Uh
her singing.
yeah, yeah. So they filmed a version of this movie where she sings Streets of Fire, and then Springsteen basically told them, no, you're no to the rights. So they had to come up with a different ending. They
Hmm.
edited an ending where it ends on the Sorels
Hmm.
singing their song, which that song actually became the number one song off the soundtrack. And it chart
Was it for this movie?
Yes.
Because that was the only song I actually knew of before this
Same.
movie. I was like,
Same.
man, I was like, I didn't like, I had no idea. I was like, so I was curious if it was for this movie or if it was like just brought in later. But dude,
Yeah.
like we didn't talk about the Sorrels at all. Like such a random part of the movie. We don't need it. It doesn't affect the plot, but I'm glad it's there.
Yeah.
Like I really dug it, you know?
Yeah.
And I also kind of like how the movie takes its time. Like we're here for the music as well as
Hmm.
everything else, you know. So we play out the songs, the
Hmm.
opening and the end songs. We hear the whole songs. You know, we see all the other stuff. At Torchy's, we hear. I don't know if it's the whole song, but a big part of it.
Hmm.
So then when we hear the Sorrels just singing a cappella on the bus, it's such a different tone from the rest of the movie. I'm like, I like this. But you're
Yeah.
also getting everyone's like reactions, including Diane Lane and Rick Moranis. I'm like, it's
Hmm.
kind of like the one part of the movie where you're like, huh, I think he really does like music,
Yeah.
you know, because he's always greedy. It's all about the money. And I don't know. That's the one moment where he kind of lets his guard drop, and you're like, I think this guy really does like music.
I
you
think
know?
he's had to build this like cynical persona. They
Yeah.
they were saying that like Billy Fish is definitely like he's taken so many beatings in his life that he's at a point where he can afford to not take them anymore.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like he comes from struggle. He comes from
Yeah.
that background. So he keeps dishing it out. But yeah, it's like it's moments like that and then also like moments like you kind of get a glimpse of it, but you're not really sure what it is like at the beginning. You know, where he's like where Ellen is like actually performing and he's
Yeah.
like standing there just kind of looking on. You're like, "Okay, but you don't know if he's also just enamored with Ellen or not."
Yeah.
Which is why I like that we get the end with him looking on at the Sorels singing I Can Dream About You.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's that same magic where he's just like, we're gonna make so much money. It's like, yeah,
And
he
the guy's
loves
like, God bless rock and roll.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
yes.
It's like this is great.
Oh
Um
man.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
so they cut an ending with the Sorels.
Yeah.
And everybody said that like they liked it,
Hmm.
but it needed like an extra so then they got Jim Steinman back and they the original place where they shot the opening
Hmm.
was no longer available because it was being restored like so
Mm.
they had to rebuild the whole set.
Oh
All the
crap.
neon stuff had to like get added back. Diane Lane was shooting a new movie,
Yeah.
so she had to come back and get like a wig done up, so it's like all of that is artifice.
Yeah.
um but yeah, yeah, they all came back and they all shot the movie and they all shot that new song. And I really liked Michael Pare was talking to Walter Hill. It's like, how do I play that last shot of me walking out of the thing? Like what do I do? Because he admitted like he was very inexperienced as an actor. So he was
Yeah.
like, like I don't know how to do this. Like I'm very nervous about it. And Walter Hill's only note to him was, "You stop at that door and you look like a movie star." And when you see that shot, you're like, I don't like, you can talk trash
Yeah.
about Pare's performance.
Hmm.
You can say that it kind of brings the movie down. You can do all that stuff. I still think it's solid. I think it fits within the world. I think it makes him an interesting sort of standout to how
Yeah.
like comic booky it all is.
And I just do want to make a note that a lot of people think he's like the weakest part of the movie.
Yeah,
Which is why I wanted to mention earlier how I think it really was the writing that kind of brought down his performance. It
I
wasn't
think
really
so
him
too.
himself. Also the
Yeah,
fact that like this might have been his first movie or one of the first ones because they all say like he was brand new. They
yeah,
wanted to hire the next like it guy, you
yeah.
know. So didn't happen, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But, when you look at that shot of him, like, she's singing the song and he like opens the door and then he turns back to catch the performance and she's there and the whole crowd is loving it. They're eating it up. And then you're like, and then you just see him because the song is about kind of apocalyptic love, like how destructive this force that's so basic is,
Yeah.
and how it's a whole thing about misconnections and timing. You
Hmm.
know, it's such a quintessential idea of young love that it just hurts so much watching Diane Lane sing it to her ex. And then he can't even finish the performance. He's just staring on and he takes off right
Hmm.
out the door. And she even gets a shot where it's like, sure, maybe she's just like trying to catch her breath, but even she like as he like walks out the door, she turns away as if she can't even bear to watch him go. And then she comes back a second later because this is her world and she's there and they're all and I'm like, "Oh, I don't give a shit. This movie rules, man. This movie's so fucking great."
Cinema.
Cinema,
Cinema.
capital C. Man, it's so good. Yeah, no, he's like 4.5 stars. This is 4.5 stars.
Okay. Okay.
I don't care. I can very well see myself changing that to 5. Like
Yeah.
like like I know I joked about it, but I am potentially Streets of Fire pilled now. Like this
Well, like I
is
said, dude, that was my original review. I gave it 5 stars, and I was
yeah,
like, man,
yeah.
and I might end up giving it 5 stars the next time I watch it. Who knows?
I mean, it's kind of the thing. It's my thing with like Alien 3.
Hmm.
I'm one of the few in the camp that like, you know, I kind of had the same experience. I had never watched any of the like other Alien movies after Aliens.
Yeah.
Like seen like Alien vs Predator, all that stuff, Prometheus, but I had never seen Alien 3 or Alien Resurrection because I always heard how bad they were. Everybody's like, "Oh, they're trash. They shouldn't exist." All this stuff.
Hmm.
So I just on a whim, watch Alien Resurrection, or I'm sorry, not Alien Resurrection, Alien 3. I on a whim like turn it on and I watch it, and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning when the movie ends, and I'm just like, this movie rules.
Hmm.
And I feel insane because everybody's been telling me that this movie doesn't rule. And
Yeah.
every single time I kept watching it, I've seen it maybe like 5 times now. Uh, and I'm like, this is a great movie. This I feel like is sort of a perfect capstone to the saga. And there's so much going on to it. There's so much meat on here. It's like, is it a perfect movie? Probably not. But yeah, like after watching it so much, like yeah, like I gave it like 4.5 stars when I first reviewed it,
Hmm.
and yeah, just like frequently rewatching it, I'm just like, no, this is 5 stars. I don't care. This is 5 stars, and I'll go out on a limb and say it's one of Fincher's best.
Yeah. And you see, like the whole rating of the movies thing, it's always weird because everyone just views it as gospel. I mean, it's really
Sure.
it's really for yourself. Art is
Yeah.
subjective.
Yeah.
I just have like I need to rank things. It's just, you
Hey,
know,
you're
s-
not alone. The algorithms love a rank. They love a ranking
yeah, like it's
list.
just the way my brain works. When it's working, I got to put things into like categories, um, just to keep it, just to stay sane. But at the same time, I'm also very open and very much against, staying in the box.
Yeah, yeah.
So you know, movies, they're supposed to movies and just all storytelling, they're supposed to elicit some kind of feeling out of you. So if you're feeling that it's a 5 star movie, feel that it's a 5 star movie.
I agree.
What movie I never hear people say is a 5 star movie, but it's my favorite movie of all time? Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. you know,
Yeah.
and simple. And I know why, and it's because it's Indy and his dad,
Yeah.
and I have so many memories of you, me, and dad watching that movie, and him in scouts and going on our little adventures and all that stuff. So sure, I can break down how the music is great. I think some of John Williams' best.
Hmm.
And how it's shot visually and the character progression, yada yada yada. Uh, I could talk about all that all day and love it. But at the end of the day, it's like, no, it's because it's personal. It hits me on a
Hmm.
more personal level, you know? And that's why it's 5 stars. This one, I don't know. I mean, it's not really at the 5 star level anymore, but it's just, I really dig this movie, and it hits hard.
Hmm.
And I think especially too, because the last couple years, I've talked about it on this podcast a lot. Music is just, it's becoming more important to me.
Yeah.
And I think because I don't really have any musical ability whatsoever, um, I'm really, I don't know, to me, it's an outlet to like express my feelings,
Hmm.
even though I'm not the one making it. It's, I don't know, sometimes I'm trying to do better with being open and expressing my feelings, but something about just music is like an outlet for me. So I'm constantly trying to listen to more music, new music. It's something I'm challenging myself to listen to. Not forcing myself to like it or anything, but just to like, if this is important to me, so I want to make it a priority. So luckily I work by myself, so I get to choose the music. So I'm like last year, like, dude, I don't know, I listened to like 270 new albums or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, something like
It was
that.
ridiculous. Um, I was stressing out at the end because I'm like, I gotta listen to this before the year's done. But you know, and it just really opened my mind to a lot of different music. And so something like this, where as cheesy as it is, like it is so tied in with the music, I just really vibe with it. And again, I love the opening, the way the music fit with the way the shots were and everything. And
Hmm.
I really, and even some of the score, like I wish we can listen to like just the score because I think it there were parts of it where uh I'm like, wait a second, is that nowhere fast? Like there was little very slight themes going in and out of the score, and I was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and this is a movie where like the music is almost playing nonstop. Like
Yeah.
there's very little score in it. So when it did happen, I was like really listening to it. I was like, wow, okay.
Hmm.
This sounds like that song they were playing earlier. I'm like, interesting. Uh, but yeah. Yeah, man. This movie has everything. Guns,
Hmm.
motorcycles,
Hmm.
rock and roll,
Hmm.
kick-ass lesbians,
Hmm. And
and acapella. I don't know.
acapella and sledgehammer fights.
Oh my God. I don't know what the point of that was, but I was for it. I was like,
I don't
yes.
care. I don't care at all. This is look,
If
listeners. I won't harp on this for too long, but I will just say it all comes down. The big grand showdown is underneath that beautiful elevated train, railing bridge,
yeah.
whatever, between Tom Cody and Willem Dafoe, and they fight with sledgehammers.
You know,
And
I
if
was
that's not some of the coolest shit you've ever seen,
yeah.
yeah.
I was really hoping for a shootout, especially when like the rest of the citizens come out with their guns. I'm
Hmm.
like, yes, this is gonna be awesome. But I didn't want to see any of them die, you know? That
Yeah,
wasn't the vibe
yeah.
of the movie.
Hmm.
So no, when they pull out the sledgehammers, I'm like, huh. It's something about it just makes sense in this world. You know,
Yeah.
like these are like working class people, you know,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
it's kind of like West Side Story, like the knives, they it just
Yeah.
it fits so well. I don't know what it is about those sledgehammers. I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, I these guys probably do break rock for a living. Like I don't know
Right?
what their jobs are, but it's
Yeah.
probably something sucky like that. I'm
Well,
like,
yeah,
okay,
like just looking at Torchy's, like that whole like area just feels like it's like factory. It's all refinery kind of stuff.
right,
It's like,
yeah.
yeah, and all these bikers who little tidbit, most of them were real Hell's Angels.
Oh,
Uh
nice.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They asked them to shave their beards and to uh decustom their jackets,
Oh, wow.
and that's why they all look so uniform. Like they're just all
Yeah.
black, no studs, no patches,
Yeah.
clean shaven. It's like really fitting into that sort of like greaser aesthetic.
Yeah.
But yeah,
The
like they still look like working men.
the guy who played like William Dafoe's right hand, um,
Leaving.
Lee Ving, that's his name, lead
Yeah.
singer for Fear.
Mm.
Um, just cool band, and he's still around. I think he's still
Yeah.
performing too. Um, they were the punk band that Jim Belushi brought onto SNL, who totally just destroyed the stage and were never asked back. um,
Hell yeah.
I think you can find the clip on YouTube. It's nuts. Um, but yeah, leaving.
Hmm.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, man. I have a couple friends. Like, I don't know if they've seen this movie or not, but now I'm thinking about it. It's like, yeah, man, I wonder what they think about this.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
All I know is that we should be making more movies like this.
dude, I know.
You
Let's
know,
just have fun with it, guys. Just tell a story,
yeah.
have fun. It doesn't have to beat you over the head with any kind of moral or message. Like it to me, it was kind of like it's perfect, almost like telling like a kid's story. Again, part of the fable. It's like, no,
Hmm.
it's sweet, it's simple. There you go.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, yeah, man, like that's cool. Um, yeah, absolutely loved it.
Hmm.
Listeners, let us know what you thought. hit us up on the hashtags and social media, hashtag Lost Legacies. This is a video, so this is going to be on YouTube as well as Facebook.
Hmm.
Let
Hmm.
me know in the comments if you've seen it. If you haven't, why not? Let us know what you thought.
Yeah.
And as for next week, we'll be watching another movie,
Hmm.
which is
It is going to be a movie from 2018
oh, okay.
uh, that comes from a genre that I think both you and I really, really like. We really enjoy. Uh, Keeping sort of in theme with this movie that is sort of a Western. This is the 2018 space Western Prospect.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I remember when this one came out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Where can we
Th-
watch this?
Uh, I can tell you exactly where you can watch it. You can watch it at home because it is streaming on somewhere. It is streaming on Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus. All right. Home
Yeah,
of sci-fi.
it has jumped around. It was on Hulu for a while, and then it was streaming on Amazon, and it
Yeah.
looks like now it's a Paramount. So as of this recording, it's a Paramount Plus.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Um, yeah, I remember when that one came out, and that was yeah, I won't say anything. Like I know who's in it. That's about it.
Yeah.
And I know it's in space. But yeah, it was when that actor was kind of brand new.
Hmm.
It was very this movie really flew under everyone's radar, but everyone was saying like this is one of his underrated roles that you have to watch. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So finally getting around to it. Um, I actually met him once, so we'll have to talk about that next
Oh,
episode.
you've never told me this.
Yeah, I have.
Really?
If not, I'll tell you again.
You'll tell me again, and I'll
But it
pretend that
has to
I
be on the
forgot.
pod. I'm only gonna tell it again for the likes.
Yep, because everything is content.
Yep, everything is content, guys. Like, subscribe, follow, and you'll hear my story. Um, Listeners, hit us up. We're on just hashtag Lost Legacies. We'll see it. I'm on Instagram and Threads at Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch, and on BluSky at Matthew Jimenez.
And you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at Real. That's REEL Texas Weirdo.
I wish we had a good sign off for this.
I thought we were just gonna do quotes, like our favorite quote from the movie.
What's my favorite quote from the movie?
Well, I'll tell you mine.
What's yours?
Until next time, I'm not the kind of guy to carry your bags around, but if you need me, I'll be there.
That's a good one. I really like that.
That's that was hot. That's the hottest Tom was the entire movie.
Oh man.
Damn.
I love what was it when McCoy's like sleep on the couch and she pulls out the gun. What I forgot what Tom Cody says, but something like I see you like sleeping for guns. He's like, yeah, because I'm a soldier, something like remember,
Hmm.
And he's like, well, just don't go pointing that at me, or I won't like it too much. And I'm like, what? I'm pretty sure that was verbatim the line.
Pretty sure, yeah.
I was like, what? Also, why are they such assholes to each other? Like,
Right?
he's literally letting her crash on the couch. Like, why is
Yeah.
he just being a dick all of a sudden?
I think that's just him.
Yeah, but I also like that relationship because like they're both dicks to each other, but like there's a mutual respect,
They're
unlike McCoy and
honorable.
Fish. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Also, I like we didn't talk about this at all, but where Tom Cody he just walks into the room, he takes a swig of whiskey or whatever, and he looks at like the old like wartimey photo of Diane Lane, and then like it kind of you kind of like it's not a flashback. You just see her performing like singing a song,
Yeah.
and then it cuts to him walking into Reva's bedroom. He's like, "All right, I'll do it. I'll go after her, but it's for the money." And I'm like, "What? You didn't even talk yourself into it. You just had this weird flash sideways,
Yeah.
like."
That's all he needs.
Uh,
Shot of whiskey and a flash
Also,
sideways.
is Ellen like a horrible character? I can't
May-
tell.
Maybe.
I can't tell. Like she's
Look,
just
man,
so ungrateful that he came to save her for the money.
for the money.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God.
Hey man, it's kind of the it's the Spaceballs thing, where, Princess Druidia thinks that Lone Star only, was doing all this for the money, which he technically was. But then her dad, right at the very last second, he's just like, "Oh, he didn't take the money. He just took enough to cover like fuel costs." And she's like, "What?" And that's exactly what happens in this movie,
Mhm.
he comes in, and it looks like he's gonna take the 10,000, and then he's like, I'm taking the 1,000 that I promised McCoy. And he throws the rest of fish. And that's what causes Diane Lane to just be like, okay. Well, yeah. And he's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then she
yeah.
runs out and she's like, but I do like how she calls him out on his bullshit. She's
Hmm.
like, what did I do? What did you want me to do? You left. What did I do wrong?
Hmm.
And what is his response?
He just grabs her and kisses her.
Kisses her in the rain.
In the
I'm telling
rain.
you, a 12-year-old wrote this and
Oh,
I'm all
yeah.
for it. I was like, damn.
They're kissing in the rain. And then the very next cut, they've already made love and they're just in each other's arms. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, a 12.
Yeah.
This script did not really change at all.
No.
You
Oh, and
know?
then in order to enact his plan, he's
Oh,
taking
God.
her out on
Yeah.
the train with McCoy, and like he doesn't even say anything. He just punches Eileen out, and then he tells Eileen, or then he tells McCoy, "Okay, you got to get her to the beach. I got something to do." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, I was like, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Okay.
man. So on that note, my last
Here's
line, or
yeah.
what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, look, yes, I still stand by what I said. We need more movies like this. I think every director needs to make the weirdo, graphic novel movie of their dreams.
Yeah.
I definitely do think that you need at least two or three passes on the script because you as a 12-year-old were not a great screenwriter.
Right. Yeah.
Please.
Oh
Please.
man.
I'm begging here.
Um, I think it wasn't my favorite part, but I love that moment where at the end where Fish and Tom Cody are like kind of making amends for
Yeah.
last time. She loves you. Yeah, she loves me, but she needs you. And then he walks off, and Fish is just like, "Hey, Cody," and that's
No,
it.
no, he's like, thanks. Take it easy. And Cody's just like, I'll take it however I can get it.
It's
Like,
right.
what? Damn it, dude. Just go. Get
And
out
on
of
that
here.
note, we'll take it however we can get it.